Well, hello guys, welcome back. Okay, the microphone's going. I was trying to record a video game for you because we had a lot of breakthroughs, one after the other, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So, by the way, anytime I mention something does not mean that everything that person has ever done or ever said in every action in their life is something I agree with, okay? Okay. And I put that caveat ahead sometimes because I've found an experience that'll recommend something or I'll talk about something, and then a month later they'll do this thing or I'll see this article and I'll be like, how did I ever recommend that person? I have to go back and find the videos and delete the videos, and I base people on what I know. So we were watching Jordana Van, and I'm not even sure how we got into it. Yeah, Loki was like, why don't you watch the Wolf Totem video? You might pick something out of this. And he was setting me up because we saw another video of hers. And it was about, are people more crazy today? And I'm actually going to give you a link over to that because it'll be you exactly. And I was like, I thought only my mind would work like that. And basically, we have way too much information today. We are overloaded with information. She has this brilliant monologue about, like, it's like 15 minutes, I think, of just trying to buy kale in store. And you're thinking of everything you've ever seen. For us, it's the same thing. You're just trying to work with Loki, say. And you're thinking of every video you've ever watched. And you're thinking of everyone that hates him and everyone that loves him. You're thinking of all the movies you've seen, and even though you know those movies are fiction, maybe he said something in one of those films, that character of Loki said something, and that really hurt you because it was really offensive and it touched something personal deep inside, and you're holding on to that. And that wasn't even the actual Loki. Actual Loki can cause his own mischief. Or maybe you read an article and they were like, well, never give Loki a blue rag. Like this. Never give him a blue rag because he hates blue rags because this thing happened one time and he told me so. And you have nothing but blue rags on your altar, and Loki had told you, or you thought he did, that he loved blue rags and they were his favorite, and he told you a story. We're getting somewhere with this. And you start doubting your discernment, so you start going and finding more Loki articles, and more, and more, and more, and more, and they all contradict each other. And then there are the people that come in and join the argument, even though nobody invited them, that say you're all crazy, the gods don't talk to anyone. And then you're like, oh my god, am I crazy? Do the gods talk to me, or do I have a problem? Should I go to mental health? Oh my god, do I need to be on medication? And the crazy train just starts going. That's why we're all a little nuts. So that took a huge weight off of me, because I realized that was the cycle I was trapped in with the gods. So that was a lot of dealing with them, because every time I deal with Loki, I can think of, not from like photographic memory, but I can think of bits and pieces of every video I've ever seen. Every Marvel film I've ever seen, even though it's not the real Loki, you still think of stuff. In every book I've ever read, where the books all love, all love intended, but the books, I've always said that any book written by the god works for one person, that person. Not that they're making the money, but that is exactly their experience. That is what works for them. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for me. I've never picked up a book and went, oh my god, this is the book. This is the book. You have to have this book. I've gotten books and they've been good and they've been okay, but Odin books are even worse in my experience. I'm like, oh my god. Odin books. Oh my god. Why do I waste my money? Why is it like this siren call? And then we watched the Wolf Totem thing, and that clicked a lot of things, even though I just watched the Wolf Totem thing. And Loki is blinking this damn green light. Okay, maybe it's just going out on its own, but it's goddamn blinking, and I've got like ADD with stuff like that. It's like so fascinating. Anyhow, so got all that stress out, and talked about beliefs, and got all that stress out. And then I figured we're going to get back on that horse, because I had tried to play Bendy for the other channel in between, like, oh my god, all this stuff about the other channel, and being like feeling burnt out. I couldn't play it. I like played it so far and then I quit. I was playing it for you guys. I was doing a let's play. I was playing chapter 3 in case you're wondering, and I just got to the point where you're talking to Alice Angel for the first time. Where she sends you back to the errand, you little lift boy. Little errand boy. She sends you back to lift, little errand boy. I'm sorry. Anyhow, it's been a long goddamn day. I'm recording, and my phone rings, and I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night. Who the hell? And I pick up, and I'm like, sorry guys, my phone's ringing. I'm talking to you guys, and I have a phone in my hand, and it's my friend. I forgot to call her. I called her Wednesday when all this excitement was happening. I called her like 10 times. I visited her house. I really thought I called her yesterday. I really, really did. And I apologized, and she was concerned. She was like, how's the basement and everything? I'm like, it's fine. I said, the rug's still wet. I said, a couple things got wet, but they're drying out. They'll dry out. I just have to give it time. And I said, I can't open the door right now because it's raining. We're going into a rainy season. So that worked out, but I noticed 2 pieces of communication interrupted 2 recording sessions, and that used to happen to me all the time on the other channel. It was like the universe was saying, you are not meant to do this for a living. This stresses you out. What are you doing? Now, for the first video, I know that was just Odin doing stuff. Second, it was a playful bat, but it was also, hey, you're not meant to have to grind through these games. You're not meant to have to do this. This is not part of being Lokean. This is not part of being pagan. It's something fun I can do for the channel. But Odin was just like, yeah, let's go to war. Let's go kill all the ink monsters. I'm like, yeah, war, because he can get you whipped up. And so I think he was kind of laughing a little because I got to the same goddamn spot where I quit the first time, quit all fair, and this time I had to quit because the damn phone rang. So I was very happy to hear from my friend, but I wanted to take my headphones and throw them across the room and watch them shatter because I'm like, God damn it! I was trying to make progress and I was going to record this game for you. Anyhow, I leave everything plugged in while I'm talking to her. I come back. I'm maybe on the phone with her 15 minutes, so everything's been plugged in for like half hour. And my system felt a little warm, so I unplugged that. And I forgot that Bendy, for whatever reason, makes my computer run really hot. And it's not that complicated a game that... It's not VR, it shouldn't be running that hot, but it's always made my computer run a little hot. And I was like, you guys are not huge Bendy fans, and I do want to see the last chapter, but if I really want to see it, I can just find someone that played it and turn the sound off so I don't hear somebody doing the same kind of monologue I used to do, because you're supposed to entertain people. And I don't always want to hear that. I just want to watch a game, so maybe I'll find a no commentary thing and watch that. I'd like to play the 5th chapter, but honestly, I'd have to slog through the 3rd and then through the 4th again, because I've made it through the 4th to the very end, and I can't beat the boss battle for us, and I'm like, no, this is not that kind of channel, but I think Odin was playing with me. And then one of you made a comment about, that you've only had, like, good experiences with the Norse gods. I only have had good experiences. Sometimes Odin kicks my ass, but it's in a needful way, and it wasn't that they were disputing anything I said, but it is sometimes Odin will kick my ass, but it's in a needful way. I have a tendency to chase butterflies, as Loki puts it. He's like, goddamn girl, you're like the champion of ADD, and you've never been diagnosed, but they will be talking to me and can't get through the sentence, and I'm already thinking of something else, and I'm like looking off into space, and they're like, damn it, pay attention. What? I was listening. I was. What did I just say? You loved me? I'm not quite that bad all the time, but I can get there. And I do have short-term memory problems. I do. The doctor, I have a really bad doctor, actually, my primary care physician. Last time I was to see her, not even then, like maybe a couple years before that, she thought maybe I'd had a stroke, but like she never sent me for any kind of treatment. So the short-term memory is shot, so they can make this big revelation. Like I had this big revelation today, and then I'm partway through the chapter on Bendy, and I'm like, oh my god, you've told me all this before, and I felt so embarrassed. I felt like I was going to go crawl under a rock and die. And Odin was like, it's okay, we know you forget. If we have to remind you 50 more times, we've got this, then we'll remind you. And if he had me watching Jordana Van, he's not a bad guy because she's one of those fluffy self-empowerment people that if you believe in it, you can attain it. Not that you just sit at home thinking positive thoughts all day, but that if you want to make something happen in your life, you can. And Odin's like, well, I don't have a problem with this if you do it with us. That's the difference. There's a difference between driving yourself crazy, as I've done in the past, and you all went through that with me, and trying to manifest, but doing it with the assistance and guidance of the gods. There's a huge difference. You can do manifestation, but you do it with the gods, and that way you don't go off on the crazy train, because some people get really carried away and they say, oh, start living like you already have whatever you want. And if you don't already have $1 million, it's probably not a good financial idea to start living like you have $1 million, you know what I mean, so forth and so on. So we're going to work on it bit by bit. And quite honestly, for me, the personal decision now to back off the Greek gods is like, really, that's up to me. The gods aren't going to twist my arm. But I know I have a tendency to chase butterflies. I have a tendency to finally be getting somewhere with Odin, finally be getting somewhere with Loki, and the first damn excuse I see to go work with the Greek gods and not worry about bettering myself, I'll go do it, and I'll never get anywhere, because the Greek gods are not the group of gods that are going to push me. They're not. They vaguely are getting around to it, and then when it gets too heavy and get too upset, they get frustrated and they quit, and they're not going to be the ones to push me. Odin's like, come here. What? Come here. And it's always a life lesson. It's never cruel or anything, but it's definitely like, they're not going to be the group to push you. You like them because they never get anything done. You run around with Dionysus, you pal around with Hermes, but the moment they get around to teaching lessons, you skip back home and you never learn anything because you just go from port to port and you're la 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 la. And they're right. I never get a damn thing done and I never get anything accomplished. Because I will do work with them, but I'll like go to Dionysus for healing or go to him for fun, and I'll go to Hermes for like advice or fun or something. But I'm not going to sit there and do deep spiritual work because I know they'll let me wiggle out of it. With Odin and Loki, it's like, no, we have you scruff between us. You're going to settle down, you're going to do this work, and then you can go play. Then they don't care what I do after, but I have to settle down and do the work. If they just let me go play, they know I'll never get around to it. I will always find an excuse of, I have to go play. And they're like, no, you have to come back and do the grown-ass woman work of working on your spirituality, working on a lot of issues, and working on who your gods are and who your main gods are. Odin couldn't tell me any louder that he's one of my main gods, neither could Loki. And if I keep walking away from that, even Allfather is going to eventually run out of patience and go, okay, you know what? Go. You know? And Loki can do the same thing. We have to be careful. Usually our gods are very gracious and they can even give us years to screw around and not be serious. But eventually we do come to that part where even the kindest, most loving God's going to say, you know what? I've been trying to work with you and trying to work with you, but you're off chasing butterflies, as Loki would put it. And you're just not with the program. I love you, but you're clearly not going to learn from me. I kind of had to do that when I was a tutor. You would sometimes get a student that they were friendly and everything, but they didn't want to learn worth shit from you. And you had to discern within the half hour or hour, whatever you had the person. If they weren't going to work with you, you had to pass them on. You had to say, hey, they don't want to listen to me, they don't want to respect me, or they just want to draw or something. You were supposed to pass them on so they could learn their reading and their writing, arithmetic, whatever they were there for. And the gods will kind of do that with us too. So it was a really good day, and I think people get the idea that if you end up with the Norse gods, it's somehow tragical and you're trapped with these deep, dark, and depressing gods, and they can be every bit as nice and cheerful as the Greek gods, but they do have that reputation of, oh, now your life's going to be so hard and so miserable now. But we have to remember the cultures are different. As Odin told me, I'd be goddamn cheerful too if I grew up on an effing island. And If you grew up in a goddamn tropical island where nothing much happened and you weren't on the side where the pirates came and everything, yeah, your life would be pretty damn happy too. There's a difference between growing up in a place where food's more accessible and, life is fairly stable and growing up in a place where the winters are harsh and horrible and people died of starvation. And since your neighbors were dying of starvation, this may be the day they raid your farm and kill your whole family. Yeah, you're gonna have two very different outlooks on life when your neighbors can suddenly go from, oh, their community and their kin to being the people show up to play perch night with you for realsies. So yeah, and really, I think we all get the Norse gods differently. Some people get them, they're gentle little lambs, and some people get them and they're full-on Viking berserker. But I think we get what we expect. A little of what we expect, a little of what we want, and a little of what we need. And eventually they're going to get us the whole way to what we need. And it might be completely different from what we thought we needed or what we thought we wanted, but we'll get there. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.